Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Jessica. Today I'm going to be eating some fire noodles with snow crab legs, steak, and eggs, and I've paired it with some Peach Bubly. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can be part of the Brown family, and then hit the post notification bell so you know every time we upload a brand new video. So I'm going to say grace and then we will get started with story time. Father, I thank you for this food. I ask that you bless it. Let it be a nourishment to my body. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So I thought today I would share with you guys that I was diagnosed with narcolepsy. About my diagnosis. So, back in 2013, I had a coworker who is a lifelong friend now bring it to my attention. She would stop by. So I used to work in the lab. Every time she would walk up and down the hallway, she would just peep in, either say hi or something. Well, she started noticing that I was sleeping, and it was so obvious because I would my head would be kind of slumped. So she started bringing it to my attention, like, hey, first it was like, hey girl, you better wake up. She was just joking around, like, what are you doing? And then it got to the point where she was like, hey, Jess, I think you might need to go get that checked out. You shouldn't be falling asleep all the time. I mean, it would be mid-morning, it would be after lunch, it would be mid-afternoon. Like, I was constantly just falling asleep. And, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, maybe it's her B12, or maybe she has vitamin D deficiency. Well, So I kept putting it off, and she just kept telling me almost every day, like, please go check it out. Just like, fine. So I had to establish a primary care physician because I didn't even have a family doctor. I hadn't gone in years. So I went ahead, went to my first initial appointment. They did blood work. She was like, oh, everything's fine. So then she sent me to the sleep specialist. And before he did the sleep study on me, he's the one that sent me to go get the test to see if I was having seizures during my sleep, because for some odd reason at the time I was getting bruises and not knowing where they were coming from. And this is before kids. Jojo was born in 2016, so all this was happening in 2013. 2014. All this was happening in 2014. And so like I said, for the test to see if I was having seizures, they just put me on a table, did like a strobe light sort of thing over my eyes, but my eyes were shut, and it didn't trigger a seizure. So then he recommended to do the sleep study test, which that was pretty pricey. So it was an overnight stay, and then I had to stay the whole entire day. They had like a hotel room kind of setup. I mean, it literally was like a hotel room, but inside the hospital. I had a queen size bed, a flat screen on the wall, a nightstand, a private bathroom to myself. was great. Except when they prep you, so I had to come in at night. It was probably like 8 o'clock. Justin dropped me off, brought my pillow, my blanket that I wanted to use, some clothes to change in for the next morning, you know, all the essentials. And after I got checked in, they brought me back to my room, and they had to put electrodes on my head, more so in my hair. And you guys know at the time I had long hair, so I had glue, like all this gunk in my hair because they had to put the electrodes in different places to read my brainwaves. So that was interesting. It was interesting putting in, and even more interesting trying to get all of that glue out when I got back home. Okay, so they also gave me a CPAP, the mask that covers your face when you're sleeping at night. They didn't know maybe I had sleep apnea or I had what's the other thing? The reason why you need CPAP. Anyway, obviously I don't have that issue because I don't have any knowledge on it. So I slept through the whole night. I mean, as best as I could with this machine on my face and wires all glued to my head. But it was fine. So then they woke me up the next morning at like 6. They also took my order the night before for all my meals throughout the day. So they got my breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal. And woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they were like, okay, time to wake up. And they also had an intercom, speakers overhead, so they could literally just be like, hey, wake up. And it would scare me and I'd get up. So what happened was wake up at 6, get ready for the day. They brought me breakfast. Then I had to sit in the bed and wait for 2 hours. So this was like every 2 hours. It was in 2-hour increments when they would start a study each time. So by 8 o'clock, I would start a study. They would start recording the brain waves at 8 o'clock. So they would say, okay, Jessica, it's time to lay down. So I would lay down in the bed. And they would say, okay, close your eyes, move your left fingers, move your right fingers, move your eyes from left to right. Like, they would try to, I guess, make sure that all the wires that were on me were all accurate and working when they needed to be. So, as soon as they did the whole test to make sure everything was working right, they would say, okay, Jessica, go ahead and go to sleep. So I would close my eyes, and I had 20 minutes to go to sleep. And if I didn't fall asleep in the 20 minutes, then okay, whatever. I'm telling you, I felt like in 5 minutes I was asleep. Every time. Every time they said, okay, Jessica, go ahead and go to sleep now, or try to go to sleep, I was out like a light. So then they would wake you up. I think they would let you sleep for like 15 minutes. If you did fall asleep, they would let you sleep for 15 minutes. And then they'd wake you up, which that sucks because now you're like all drowsy and cranky because you're like, why did you just wake me up out of my sleep? And then you'd have to wait another 2 hours. So you could sit up in the bed, text, call people, watch TV, do whatever you want for the next 2 hours until the 2 hours is up. Then you would repeat. They repeated the process every 2 hours, the whole entire day. Then it started getting to the point where I started dozing off before the 2 hours had hit. So they would come overhead and be like, Jessica, wake up, please. Wake up. Stay up. You gotta stay up. like, oh my gosh, this is hard. So the test wasn't really to see how many times I could fall asleep, because that's not what narcolepsy is about. So the test is to see how fast you can reach REM. There's 3 different stages of sleep, which I will put down below because I totally forgot. But REM is like the deepest sleep. And apparently I was reaching REM in like 5 minutes or less, which is not normal. You're supposed to hit all the stages first and then you hit REM. So by the end of the day, I think I had one more test to do. And the nurse came in and she said, we just called the doctor. We have what we need. You don't need to do the last one. I was like, oh, I hope that's a good thing. So I went home, and of course we waited for the call to see what was going on. He was like, okay, we got your results. Come on in. So went in, and he was like, so based on your results, you So he's like, based on your results, you have narcolepsy. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I didn't say it like that. Narcolepsy? I don't like fall out on the floor or in the middle of talking to somebody and I just pass out. I don't have narcolepsy. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Can you please explain how I have narcolepsy? So I did more research. He explained more stuff to me. Came to find out there are 2 different kinds of narcolepsy. So, you know, we all grew up knowing about narcolepsy, and those are the ones that pass out in the middle of doing something. Nope, that's not me. Mine can be dangerous though, because it's extreme daytime sleepiness or daytime fatigue. So that's what happens for me. So it went from having a diagnosis to figure out how to fix me. Because being tired, yes, it does get in the way of your work and your personal life too. I mean, you know, coming home, Justin wanting to spend time with me, you know, I'm just always tired. And yeah, a lot of people always say, I just want to go to bed. I'm tired. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But seriously, for me, I was tired. I was exhausted. I felt like I worked as hard as I could at work, and then I had nothing else left in me. That's what it felt like. And it felt like I was forcing myself all day long to just push. Like I literally was pushing myself to make myself keep going at work. It was tough. And I can't drink coffee. I can't drink anything with caffeine because it will give me migraines. So I really didn't have a choice. I didn't know what I could do to keep me awake. But even doing the caffeine thing with narcolepsy, I mean, that's not going to fix the problem. So the only thing he could really do was prescribe me medication to help me stay awake long enough to get through the workday, to get through life during the day. So we started off with Ritalin, which is crazy because this is like ADHD medication. It's pretty much like caffeine in a pill. And it was supposed to help me stay focused, which it worked, but the only thing was it always had a huge crash. So it would work, then I'd crash until I took another one. Then it would work, then I would crash until I took another one. And it was like, I can't keep doing this. So then he kept upping the dose. Like, okay, well, Ritalин's not working because I've given you the max amount. Let's try Adderall. So then I did Adderall. Then he started upping the dose for the Adderall. Because my body just kept getting used to it. I kept getting used to all this medication. And, you know, he would just keep upping the dose. Then my body would get used to it. Because I kept going through these phases with Ritalin and Adderall. I just kept crashing. And it's the worst feeling in the world. I mean, have you guys ever had like caffeine overload with your coffee or soda? Or, I don't know what else has caffeine, but then you had that crash? It sucks. It really sucks. So that's how I felt. I went from just being tired all day to getting my diagnosis to then just being good to crashing. Good to crashing. And it was just too much. I was like, you know, you get to that point where you're trying to find an answer for yourself. If any of you have any medical conditions, you try to find the answer and you get so frustrated trying to find anything that is gonna make it all stop. That's how it felt for me. So then I was like, well, all of this stuff is not working. Oh, guys, and another thing is, one of the things that happens a lot with narcolepsy is sleep paralysis. If you have experienced sleep paralysis, you know that's a scary thing. It's creepy. It's more so creepy than anything. They sometimes call it like the witch on your back kind of thing. I don't know. It's like I said, it's creepy. So when you experience sleep paralysis, you are literally like on the verge of falling asleep or the verge of waking up. And right there, when you're about to wake up or fall asleep, your body goes into paralysis. And what happens is your brain had already told your body to sleep. So your body is slumped. Literally, like your body is asleep because your brain told it, hey, we're about to start dreaming. So your body's supposed to be paralyzed during your dreams so that you don't act it out. So what happens during sleep paralysis is that your body is completely out, cold, but your brain is functioning and awake. Like your eyes are literally open. You can see the room, you can see your surroundings, but you can't move. You can't talk, you can't do anything. You can't even scream for help. It's the creepiest thing. And sometimes people have hallucinations with this, which makes it even scarier. So, while we're trying to figure out what medication works, I was dealing with a lot of episodes of sleep paralysis. One night I had 3 episodes. And it freaked me out so much. I told Justin, I'm not going to sleep. I'm so freaked out. I'm not going to sleep. So he stayed awake to watch me for a little bit until I ended up falling asleep. But it was just so creepy. Like the first time I had sleep paralysis that night, this is literally all in one night, I had the experience that I just explained to you, where you just can't move, but your eyes are open. And I kept screaming for help. I was like, Justin, but nothing would come out because I couldn't move. Then eventually I snapped out of it. The second time, I was laying in the bed and I felt the bed shaking. Like it just felt like an earthquake. And that was me sleeping. And when I woke up, I was like, Justin, did you feel that? And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what in the world? Like, just weird stuff just kept happening. Then, the third time it happened that night, I was laying in the bed and I was dozing off. I remember I was just about to be knocked out, and then all of a sudden, the sleep paralysis kicked in. And I could see the wall, I could see my surroundings, but my body was numb. It was paralyzed. And then all of a sudden, it felt like something was pushing me down into the bed. I felt like I was sinking in the bed. And of course, I couldn't scream for help because during sleep paralysis, you can't say anything. So I just kept fighting it until I snapped out of it. And I was like, that was the last straw. I was like, Justin, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm not. Well, I ended up falling asleep. But he made me feel comfortable, you know. He stayed up and watched until I went to sleep. And I didn't have another episode that night. But I had them here and there. But I've learned, I had to research it. I've actually learned how to control it. Actually prevent it. When I know what's about to happen, I know what to do. So, if you guys ever want to know how to get out of sleep paralysis, as soon as you feel it kicking in, this is what worked for me. You might need to find something else that works for you, but I always tell myself, move your finger. Just move your finger. Just one finger. Like, I just tell myself to move one little body part before I get freaked out, because it is a creepy feeling. It's really creepy. But when I say creepy, like spooky, like it's anyway, some of you know what I'm talking about if you ever experienced it. But to get out of it, you just keep telling yourself to move something very, very small. And so I tell myself my finger. Whoop. So yeah, I'm just like, Jessica, move your finger, move your finger, move your finger. And I'll say it so fast in my head over and over and over and over again until my finger moves. Once your brain has connected to tell your body to move, you'll snap out of it. So that's just a tip. Hopefully that helps somebody out there. So, on to the next medication. He was like, well, Ritalin and Adderall aren't working for you, so let's try this other stuff. A special pharmacy has to make it. They don't sell it over the counter. They don't sell it at any pharmacies locally. You have to order it. I forgot what it is called, but like the brand name. But the generic name is sodium oxybate. If you guys know what that is, good for you. And if you don't, I'm about to tell you. I researched it to figure out what it was, and apparently it used to be the date rape drug. So apparently this is something that helps people with narcolepsy. Not all, some. Well, I started taking it. It's pretty scary. They send you a timer because you have to wake up 4 hours later to take your second dose. And it also tells you when you take your dose, which is only 5 milliliters, you take that dose, you must be laying in the bed already, because you will pass out in no time. And it was no joke. I was laying in the bed, I took my little 5 milliliters and literally passed out probably in 30 seconds or maybe a minute the most, and I was out. 4 hours later, the alarm goes off. I could reach over, turn the alarm off, went to stand up to go use the restroom, realized I can't move. I'm literally drunk. I was falling all over the place, and it was so bad, Justin had to get up out of bed in the middle of the night and carry me to the bathroom and put me on the toilet so I could pee. And he had to hold me there because I was falling off the toilet. Yeah. Not a fun experience. I literally did it for 3 days. On the third day, I went to work. And I just felt off. I just did not feel right at all. I knew something was wrong. And then my breaking point when I knew something was seriously wrong was I started shaking, like trembling. And my manager could even see. I was like, what is going on? Like my hands were like just shaking. And then this is what did it for me. My head started twitching. It was just twitching at work. I was like, oh no, I gotta go home. She was like, yeah, go girl. Do what you gotta do. Go home. I came home. I called the doctor immediately. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking another dose of that. But any medication that is supposed to help your mind and stuff, that messes with your central nervous system. Like that messes with everything, all your nerves everywhere. But I told him I was done, and I held on to that medication for like 3 years. I was so scared to even dump it down the drain. Like I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to throw it in the trash. I didn't know where to take it. I was just so scared. I didn't want to take it anywhere because I didn't want anybody to have their hands on this stuff, because this stuff is dangerous. And now I know what those girls out there feel like when they have a little bit of that little date rape drug. It's terrible. It'll get you. So ladies, please, if you go out, of course not now with COVID, but when everything opens back up and we're all out there cool again, having fun, going out at night, never, ever leave your drink. Never. Not even with your girlfriend, not even with a family member, shoot, not even with your husband, because what happens if they look away for 1 second and someone pours it in your cup while you go to the restroom? It could just be one little mistake with them not looking and someone pouring something in your drink. Just finish your drink before you go to the bathroom, girlfriend. Okay? Just finish your drink. It's scary and it's real. It happens to a lot of people, and I'm so sorry for the ones that go through that or did go through that. But anyway, yeah, so I stopped that, and then we finally found something. Thank God. Oh, it was a lifesaver. We found something that worked for me, and it was called modafinil. That's the generic name, I believe. Yeah. Provisual is the brand name. Modafinil is the generic name. And that stuff worked wonders. It gave me the energy I needed for 12 hours. There was no crash. Oh, my goodness. It literally was a lifesaver. And we found that medication literally 2 months before I got pregnant with JoJo. And you can't take any of that medication when you're pregnant. Oh, I cannot believe that happened. So all that searching for like almost 3 years, finding the right medication for my diagnosis, I only took it for like 2 months and then got pregnant. So, had to stop taking that. But you know what? Ironically, being pregnant with JoJo gave me energy. I was not tired. I was never exhausted. I've heard people that have certain diseases or medical conditions, and when they get pregnant, they pretty much like go in remission. I've heard of that plenty of times. I used to work with autoimmune specialists. And people that used to have flare-ups and stuff all the time, they would get pregnant, no flare-up. Have that baby, immediately or the next day, they have a flare-up. Isn't that crazy? So then I got pregnant with JoJo, and then I contacted my sleep specialist, and I was like, hey, can I take this medicine again? I had to wait till I was done breastfeeding her. Then I was on it for a little bit. Then I got pregnant with Jacob. So I haven't been back on any medication since then, but thank God I am able to stay at home with the kids now. So when I am tired, at least I have like a couch around and I can lay down, close my eyes just for a few minutes. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, you guys know that I'm obviously trying to keep this channel going, so it's been a little difficult editing sometimes, because like I'll be so exhausted with the kids, and then of course with the narcolepsy, I end up falling asleep during editing a lot of the times. So that's been the challenge, at least for me, with editing and trying to keep this channel going. It's just having the energy to do all the extra stuff. Like, I try to stay awake and watch people's premieres, or I try to wake up early to see other people's premieres from the other side of the world when it's morning for them but nighttime for me. Yeah. So that's my story. And I haven't been back on only because I don't know if we're gonna have another one or not. I don't know. Should we? Comment down below. Baby Brown number 3, maybe? But it's pretty interesting because, I mean, I was getting to the point where I couldn't function at work, and narcolepsy is not considered as a disability. Alright, I think I've done enough talking. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to eat the rest of this crab. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Crabs are so expensive. Seafood is so expensive. But guess what, guys? I won't pass out on y'all while I'm eating this. I should have had some sauce. These are some good crabs. Look at this. Oh, yes. Feel like I'm doing a challenge now. I got 10 minutes to eat all this. I really wish I had sauce though. I'm gonna get this.
Mommy, you're rubbing the book.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm almost done.
Can I eat?
You want one? Come in here real quick. Look at Jojo. Jojo, come over here.
It's not good. Spicy.
Nope, not at all. Here, I don't want you to touch your brother after. Because you know he can't have crabs. Here's another bite. Got it? There we go. Alright, we're all done here. Okay, you go ahead and go. I'll be right out, okay? Alright guys, thank you so much for listening to my long story about my diagnosis. Don't be too worried. Like I said, it's great that I'm here at home with the kids. So I'm safe. You know, I'm getting all the rest I need to get when needed. But look, we just move on. We learn how to cope with it. The hard part is just figuring out how to cope with it. And, you know, hopefully I help somebody else out there that's going through it. Or if you are just tired and you don't know why, hey, just go to the doctor and check on what's going on. You know, it could be as simple as your B12 levels or something, you know, but it could be as drastic as, oh my gosh, you have narcolepsy. But everything's gonna be okay. All right, guys, just keep praying on it. I know I had a lot of prayer warriors for me during that time, so just pray on it and stay around positive people. Don't stay around negative Nancy's. So yeah, that's all I have to tell you. Thank you so much. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can be part of the Brown family. And then hit the post notification bell so you know every time we upload a brand new video. And we will see you in our next one. Give us a big thumbs up. Bye guys!